want to welcome you back to another video. If it's your first time here, my name is Young Fizz. I make helpful machine tutorials as well as other auto-related content from time to time. But today what I want to do is get into the Maschine Plus as well as the Maschine 3.0 software and show you some really cool stuff using the filter plugin. And the filter plugin is basically a stock plugin, and typically it comes with the Maschine. You can do this in other DAWs as well. I'm using Maschine 3.0 today as mentioned, but you can also do this in Maschine 2 and other DAWs that have the filter plugin. So I'm going to be using the Retro Machines Mark II, but you can do this using the built-in PolySynth and other synths that are on sale right now from Native Instruments websites for under $20, such as FM8 or the Super 8 or Monarch. Some great synths that you should check out. So make sure you head over to the Native Instruments website. I will leave some links down below for your convenience. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below if you find this content to be valuable. Without further delay, let's get into today's tutorial, which is creative filters. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to load a instrument here. This one's called Chromapad. It comes from Retro Machines Mark II. And what I want to do is show it to you on the screen. So I'm just going to pull this up here for the browser. And we're going to load in the Chromapad number 1. And this is how it sounds right out the box. So it sounds really good. Let me go ahead and remove this browser here so we can look at the full screen. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add a filter. Now, I'm not going to use this filter as you think I would use it. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to do filter and load a filter. So now if we play the sound, now that is normally how people use filters, but what if I told you that you can automate this filter? And I'm not talking about using automation. What I'm talking about is using something called the LFO sync. And how to get there, basically where it says source, you change this to LFO sync. Now what that does, basically that controls the opening and closing of the filter, and it also syncs it to your project tempo. So right now I have my project tempo set to 146. So let's go ahead and take a listen to see how it sounds. So as you can hear, nothing has happened yet, and that's because we have to adjust its settings. So let me take a minute to explain what some of the parameters of this plugin does. So if you see where it says type and mode, you can select whether you want the low pass, the band pass, high pass, or the notch. For right now, I'm going to be using the low pass. The next parameter we have is the cutoff, which is under frequency, and this basically controls the frequency of the filter. Right next to that, we have the resonance, and this basically controls the amount of application near the cutoff frequency. So let's just say, for example, we are playing this chord, and I change the frequency to 403.1. Now, if I up the resonance, listen to what's going on. So really cool control there. Directly next to that, we have the mod, and with the mod, we can control the amount. And this basically says how much of that filter gets modulated by the modulation source. So again, we have this pad. And we control that in percentages. So if we have negative 100%, it makes a different sound compared to if we have 100%. So we're going to come back to that and adjust that in just a second here. The next control we have over there is the source, which is the LFO sync. And then we have the other controls, which is speed, LFO shape, and then the phase. So the speed controls how fast do you want to go. So let's say, for example, I want to do, let's go 1/8. I think 1/8 sounds pretty good. So it has that 80s pulsating feel. And then we can control things like the shape. So basically controls the different wave types. So do we want it to be more square? Or do we want it to be more kind of like a rising, like a triangle or sine wave? And then we can control the phase. So on the Maschine Plus, I'm gonna hit the arrow over, and then we can see things such as the sidechain input. And basically we have the source, which I'm gonna show you how to use later on in this tutorial. So for right now, we're gonna go back and experiment with this filter here. So really awesome stuff there, and you can hear how when I adjust the parameters, you can really get a unique sound. So now what I want to do is show you how to use the sidechain with inside the filter. A minute ago, I was talking about the source. We can change this over to the envelope. I'm going to go over to pad number 2, and I'm going to load a kick, and that's going to be my trigger for pad number 1 or slot number 1. So I think that works pretty good. So let's go ahead and just program something inside of the machine here. We're going to quantize that. And then I'm also going to program something on my pad here. So let's go back to slot number 1. So now what I want to do is come back to my filter plugin. I'm going to tab over to the sidechain input. We're going to have the input source, and we're going to select that to the kick. And so now what we have is this right here. So let me go ahead and adjust some parameters here and see how it sounds. So now you get the idea of how powerful this could really be. It's your boy Young Fizz, mr.dopestatus on Instagram. If you found some value in this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to check the links in the description box below, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and we are out.